Okay, so campaign aside,
Campaign aside, I do this 24 hours a day. What are you talking about?
Campaign aside, what was your involvement in Justin Student's campaign?
I'm going to fulfill my commitment to the voters to focus on the issues that matter to them most, which is improving the economy and creating jobs. I'm not going to deviate from those issues one iota.
What have you been making a living since you lost the race in 2012? What have you been doing for work?
Business development.
What business?
That'll all come out in the financial disclosures. They will speak for themselves.
Why don't you give us a preview?
Oh, because they haven't been written yet.
Well, you know what business you do. We don't need it in a disclosure. You can just tell us.
They'll speak for themselves. That's why they exist.
You can't just answer a question about how you've been making a living.
When I write the call, I'll pass it to you. When I fill it out. Whenever the financial disclosures come out, all of that.
So you're not just willing to tell us who you've been working for the past years?
When the financial disclosures come out, you'll see all of that information. They'll speak for themselves.
Let me know if I missed anything.
So you said, Congressman said all previous allegations, everything's been answered. There's a current case before the Ethics Commission now, and they're going to rule next month. What about those allegations before the Ethics and the findings of the judge?
I am very pleased that that whole process has resulted in a majority of false allegations being dismissed. And I have no doubt that when the process culminates, and there's still several steps to go, that the remaining false allegations will be dismissed as well.
All right, tell me why you crossed the border from Costa Rica to Nicaragua to Siena.
There's one.
As I've said on many occasions, I have a commitment to the voters.
We're going to keep asking the questions
and I'm going to keep answering the same way. I've made a commitment to the voters to focus on the issues that they care about.
Wouldn't it be easier to do away with all the questions by just answering them all?
Not one voter has asked me that question, and you don't vote in this district, so you don't count. So the voters have asked me questions about the economy and creating jobs over and over.
So you don't think this is a cloud that hangs over you? I've heard the same answer over and over and over. We have other people here sharing with you.
Over and over again. Voters have been asking me about improving the economy and creating jobs. When we have over $17 trillion national debt that represents the biggest threat to America's economic sustainability going forward, that's the issue we need to focus on, because what that represents is a lack of access to credit for small businesses, for families, for individuals to get loans. Because all of that national debt is not printed money, it's money that we really do borrow from banks. And that means it's money that's not available to the consumers.
So
that's the number one.
That's the number one. Is that not fair?
Those are your words.
I'm asking you, is that fair to ask you about your character? Is it fair to ask any other candidate about your character?
In America, you can ask any question you want,
But you won't answer.
and I can give a response. It's your prerogative to ask the questions and mine to answer. So what I'm telling you is, I have a commitment to the voters, not to the media, to the voters, to focus this campaign on the issues that they care about most: improving the economy and creating jobs. There are a lot of families that are hurting because they either have someone in their family, or they know someone, or a neighbor, or a former colleague, or a colleague who has lost their job or has less hours working because of Obamacare. Those are real issues that impact real people on a daily basis. And because they are such real issues, that's where I'm going to focus my time.
So if you question someone else's character, is it fair to question yours as well? I mean, to ask a question about ethics, to ask a question about your past, about your financial disclosure?
I will never speak ill of a fellow Republican. As you know,
but you speak well about a Democrat.
I didn't finish with that. I will never speak ill of a fellow Republican. As you know, I have said on many occasions, Ronald Reagan's 11th commandment: "Thou shalt not speak ill of a fellow Republican." When we get to the point, after the primary, when we have a general election, and probably I'm the nominee, it's very legitimate to draw contrast with the Democrat nominee. We're in a primary process right now, and when you're in a primary process, the best thing we can do as Republicans, particularly since there's 5 Republicans, is to let the voters know why they should vote for us, not why they should vote against somebody else. So I'm going to stick to my campaign of talking about my merits, my record of public service, to this community, and why I think the voters should vote for me, not why they should vote against somebody else.
All right, I think we're done and talking in circles for one day, don't you?
So how do the